Welcome to the Letters Page, a podcast where we write Sentinel comics.
I'm Adam.
And I am Christopher.
What's up, buddy?
Adam, I've had a busy week. How are you?
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay.
Yeah.
I'm so tired still
Yeah.
because daylight savings time happened 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it happened to me specifically.
To you. Daylight savings happened to you 2 weeks ago.
At me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have not recovered. My body does not want to make the change.
Well, have you considered sleeping less? That's what I do. Whenever I sleep less, I feel better.
Well, the change happened and it's like, oh, you need to sleep more. And I don't like that. I don't feel like I don't like that. Although working out might make me need to sleep more also.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like when the more physically active I am, the less sleep I need.
I was feeling that too, but then suddenly, and for no reason.
I mean, for some reason, we just don't know what that reason is.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's because stores wanted to stay open later. Is why.
The daylight savings time. Yeah.
Yeah. But suddenly so functionally for no reason. Suddenly for no reason, they're like, everything your body knows is a lie. So.
Well, I'm sorry that daylight savings time is still hitting you so hard. That seems excessive and weird, and that sucks. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, just
I just there's days where it's like, oh, I haven't started doing anything until noon. I finished my workout at 12:30 yesterday.
I do more before 7 a.m. than you do all day.
It's fine. I'm working until 2 a.m, but
yeah, me too.
Okay.
To be fair, I did go to bed at 1:30 last night. I called it early.
Okay. All right. Good. I finished Act 2 of Baldur's Gate last night. So
excellent. I've heard great things about that game.
It's very fun. It's shockingly versatile. It's like, how did you think that someone would want to do this thing? Mm-hmm. And they did. So you can cast talk to animals or whatever, and you could talk to any animal in the game and they all have dialogue.
It's interesting. I've always thought about the talk to animals spell as being an interesting thing, where it's like, I could cast talk to animals, and then I would be like, hey, squirrel, what's going on? And the squirrel goes, nuts! I need nuts! I gotta get nuts! And you're like, what's going on in your life, squirrel? Have you seen anything interesting? Ah! Wah! Nuts!
Most of them are like that.
Oh, okay, good. I was hoping that most you're like, oh, animals probably have this rich inner life, and the answer is nah, dog.
No, but where it becomes useful is rats will go hey, shiny thing, love shiny thing. You go okay, I can follow you to the or sometimes there will be people that have been transformed into animals. And you can unravel that. It
That's
opens
cool.
up side quests or whatever, so.
I assume that game is mostly just side quests the game, right?
If you want it to be, it's
Sure.
I mean, yes. Yeah, it's just there's so much exploring and finding things, and you can approach the main quest in infinite different ways. So there's characters that you can recruit that are or kill that are this becomes a main villain or becomes a main member of your party, or
that's cool.
It's incredibly variable.
Well, I'm excited to play it someday. I'm sure I will eventually.
I have coffee now, and
congratulations.
The world is better as a result.
Yeah,
that's what I've been doing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's up? What you're doing an eyebrow thing?
You gonna ask me what I've been doing this week?
What you been doing this week,
Adam? We're gonna have to go into the topic. We're gonna go into the podcast.
Oh, okay.
Go into the thing. Adam, this week I've been listening to the Letters Page podcast.
Really?
Yep.
Why?
Because
why would anyone do such a thing, including the people listening right now?
Yeah. No, I haven't been listening to it in a go through and do show notes for an episode. I did that for last week, of course. But then I've been listening to many back episodes of the Letters Page podcast because
we can call them back issues.
Yeah. Because so they're definitely issues, Adam.
Okay.
Well, no, because we rarely do notable prep work for these episodes. We like people to see the creative process live.
Yeah.
But a thing that you and I know is true is that we have done Bugbear dirty.
Yes.
We made a whole character for Bugbear. We've made a backstory for Bugbear. We have like things in our mind that Bugbear has done, and we made a deck with Bugbear in back in the day in some other edition of Sentinels: The Multiverse, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. You're yawning already. You're already bored of this. Wow.
I know.
6 minutes in.
Don't save me this time, man.
You and I have experienced different daylight savings times. I also abhor the time change, but I don't care which one you do. Just stick with one. Just leave it alone. Stop.
Yeah,
stop
once
it.
I adjust to this, I'll be fine. But it's
going to be weeks until you adjust to it.
Leave it be. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, so I was like, well, let me just. I did a dive on all of our notes from back in the day on Bugbear, and I've got things to say about that. And I also went back and listened to a bunch of stuff because there's like, I want to know what the average listener has knowledge of Bugbear. And the answer is like so little, Adam. So I want to take you on a Bugbear journey.
Okay.
So what's going to happen here? Adam, to listener, just so you know, sometimes Adam and I jump on a call to do our recording in the morning, and we talk for between 20 minutes and 2 hours. Like sometimes we have long, big discussions, and some of those discussions are about this, and some of those discussions about other things, but frequently we do tons of prep work. This one, we jumped on a call, and Adam was like, hey, how you doing? I'm like, great, you ready to start recording? He's like, oh, shoot, yeah, let me get coffee, and then we can go. Yeah. Because I didn't want to do all this off the air, because people on the air just like have so little information about Bugbear.
Right.
Like Bugbear is our least favorite child who we've neglected, and we need to be careful or he'll Cinderella us.
It's true. Yeah. He will go to another creator and get some magic shoes.
Yep. Yeah, and he's going to go, Bugbear's going to be the biggest character over in Marvel, and we're going to be like, no, we should have kept Bugbear while we...
Yeah.
No, we forgot.
Except that cannot happen unless we sell him to Marvel. Like
the Bugbear of the ball.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Before I do that, Adam, I'm going to tell you about...
Which I would completely do at this point. If they were like, we want to buy Bugbear for $100 million. I mean, that's way too much to buy Bugbear for, but if they said that, I'd be like, take him. Like, $100 million?
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, I'd do it for $1 million, probably.
No one's going to do that.
No.
You probably sell Bugbear for $1 million?
Probably would sell Bugbear for $1 million. Yeah, $1 million each.
Okay. After taxes, clearly.
Right.
Yeah, sure. Okay, man. Anyway, before we do that, I do want to tell you about a funny thing, which is from the end of the Voss episode 61 of this podcast.
Yeah.
It was about Grand Warlord Voss.
Long time ago.
Yeah. And we told the whole Grand Warlord Voss story. And then we get to the end of the overview. And we're like, okay, Night Mist tracks Voss down and banishes him nowhere outside of reality. And that's the last we ever see of Grand Warlord Voss. Mm-hmm. And then we go through all the questions. And the last question we take was like, hey, where has Voss been since Night Mist 61? And like, other characters get banished. Where's Voss? And we're like, oh, he's gone. He's lost behind time beyond time and space. Sorry. And then we end the question section. And then we go to the future section, because then we had future sections. And we said, there is no future for Grand Warlord Voss. And then we go to the wrap-up section.
Yeah, so clever of us.
And in the wrap-up section, we're like, it's so cool that this story of Grand Warlord Voss is so nicely complete and tied up. There's no loose ends. It's just like, you've got this bad guy. He does these things. Eventually this thing happens. He gets defeated. He's lost in time and space. And that's it. That's the whole Voss story. How lovely. And I was just like, look at us. Nothing to do with Bugbear. But I encountered that and I was like, this is delightful.
Sowing mistrust even then.
Well, I mean, the way that we do it is so clear. People are like, so there's some sort of big reveal you're going to do. We're like, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
What reveal could there be? Of course not.
All right. But we're not here to talk about Grand Warlord Voss. In fact, I'd be surprised if we mentioned Grand Warlord Voss again after this moment.
Why were you listening to that one in search of Bugbear?
I listened to lots of episodes.
Okay. Did you just start in search of Bugbear and then end up listening to more episodes?
No, I started in search of Bugbear and ended in search of Bugbear, but we mentioned Bugbear in that episode because Bugbear similarly was banished from time and space.
I see. Okay. All right.
By Night Mist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Something the Bugbear has in common with He Who Shall Not Be Named. because we already said we're not going to name him
Because
anymore.
we said we're not going to do it again.
So, yeah.
Right.
All right. Anyway.
I don't want to make liars of us.
No, good Lord. We're so honest and truthful and never lying on this podcast. So we can't stop now. Or can't start now. Shoot. No. Anyway, Adam, to begin.
Yes.
I'm going to read you Bugbear's original bio from the Vengeance rulebook.
Okay. Hit me.
Morris Dougal was working as hired muscle, protecting convoys of illicit substances as they made their way through Central America, where his caravan, his caravan was attacked by a rival drug cartel. I also just found a typo in it. Oof. Anyway.
That's bad.
It wasn't the typo that I said out loud. I fixed the typo that I read, but I then said a typo.
That's okay.
Okay. While fleeing, he sustained several gunshot wounds. He staggered into a huge, blocky pyramid deep in the jungle, only to collapse in a pool of his own blood. I'm trying to be overly cheerful about this just for fun. On an elaborately carved stone ledge. When he woke, it was unclear how much time had passed. Hours? Days? The length of his hair indicated weeks, if not longer. He rolled over to find that he'd been laying on a glowing, blood-red object. He pried the red gem out of the floor, then realized there was no blood on the floor. There weren't even wounds on his body anymore. The gem radiated heat in his hand, and he turned to toss it away, only to be stricken with incredible pain. Holding the bloodstone, man.
Is it another typo or?
Yeah, it's fine. I'm just...
Wow.
Look, man.
We were very tired when we were making Vengeance.
Yeah, it's daily savings time. Holding the bloodstone as his head swam, he understood on a primal level that the stone was his very life essence, and, much like himself, it hungered. Now, Bugbear prowls the jungles. His insatiable hunger demands that he finds larger and larger prey. If he were to find a major population center, the toll would be horrendous. Da-da-da-da-da-da, Bugbear! That's the intro to his 90s sitcom.
Okay. All
right. So we've got a name, we have a backstory, we have a feel for his personality before and after powers, and we have a motivation.
I know when his first appearance is also, if that helps.
Yeah, Adam, tell me what you think his first appearance is.
Tome of the Bizarre, Volume 2, number 248, in August of 1979, is what I have in my spreadsheet.
You are correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the first appearance of Bugbear.
Great.
Do you have a last appearance of Bugbear, banished outside time and space?
Do I ever? Yes.
I like the way the question became an answer.
This says Rumble in the Jungle number 6 in February 2013. That seems kind of a little weird, but...
What do you mean?
Because I don't remember Night Mist being in that story, but other than this.
What do you remember of Rumble in the Jungle?
I thought that Rumble in the Jungle was him hunting Naturalist, and that's
it. It certainly is. It is him hunting Naturalist. Also, in issue 3 of Rumble in the Jungle, Night Mist temporarily cures Bugbear.
Oh, okay.
And he fights alongside the heroes against Hammer and Anvil.
That's a weird story. Cool.
Huh?
All right.
Huh? And he does so for a few months of these comics, and Hammer and Anvil are there, and then Night Mist banishes Bugbear from reality.
Great.
At the end of it. Okay.
All right.
So, great. I need to tell you about that. This happens in fact... we talked about this very thing in the Night Mist episode. Do you remember what episode number that was? You don't have to remember specific.
12.
Yes, that's it. It's exactly it.
Cool. All right.
Good job.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah, it's 12.
Nice.
But yeah, so she in the Rumble in the Jungle story, she's there, and because Naturalist is being hunted, and she is a person that like, oh no, Naturalist is being hunted, I gotta go help. And she sees Bugbear and is like, oh, you are like me. You are someone who is dealing with a terrible curse, and I can try to suppress that curse. I can't separate you from the Bloodstone, but I can suppress it. And he's like, oh my gosh, I feel so much better. Thank you. And fights alongside the heroes. Like, I'm gonna help you guys out. Even though he was like not a good person beforehand, but being like having this curse, this hunger lifted from him makes him be like, oh, well, then thanks. I'm going to help out the people that help me. So he fights alongside Naturalist, and this is such a weird group, Naturalist and Night Mist and Fanatic and Dark Visionary against Hammer and Anvil.
Oh my God, that's so weird.
What is this Rumble and this is an Insula Paralysis? What is this Rumble in the Jungle story even doing?
I don't know. Like, I think we need to revisit the canon of that anyway.
Sure, but like
because-
also this does feel like something that would happen in comics, and people reading it would be like, "What is going on?" And at the end, he gets
That's
banished from time and
true.
space. Like, why? Who greenlit this?
Yeah, I mean, the reason that exists is because it was in Villains of the Multiverse, and we were doing like grab bag stories for
Right.
a lot of that. So like,
But it doesn't not feel like comics.
it
But
doesn't.
It just feels like
doesn't feel like
why,
it can't happen. It's just like weird that it
why
did.
did this happen? Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so over the course of fighting, he keeps having these like non-human times as Bugbear, but like protected from his curse by Night Mist, and between Visionary and like this is Dark Visionary who's like, ooh, I can see into him, and so Visionary kind of orchestrates the Bugbear getting lost in time and space because she's like, there's nothing there. The man has been mostly devoured by the beast over the years of him being cursed. And so like, sure, you can protect him from the curse, but without that, he's not a complete being.
Okay.
So she's like, okay, well, the best thing I can do for him is put him outside of reality with the hope that we can figure out something and later save him. And then nothing ever comes of that.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah. So that is his last appearance in the multiverse era.
Okay.
Yeah. We know that there is a story, but I don't know specifically where, Adam. We'd have to place it. That Bugbear is fighting Naturalist and Akashtria,
Okay.
and he tears Akashtria limb from limb, because she's a tree, and takes an important part of her. And so then... Oh, no, Plague-Rat does. Plague-Rat does. Not
Yeah.
Bugbear renders Akashtria. Plague-Rat steals a part of Akashtria, and then this leads to a naturalist. We know where this is. Yeah, we know that this is. This is where the naturalist and Akashtria deal with Plague-Rat
Okay.
in the Revicorp era.
But Bugbear's part of that.
Bugbear is the force of nature that damages Akashtria enough to. Bugbear is used as a tool in a lot of stories. He's also used in the Prelude to the Primordans, the Prelude to the Fall of the Primordans. He fights Fnatic because Idolater is controlling him, and that's like the beginning of the Idolater Spear of Longinus thing. And he's like, I see all this power, and then Apostate later shows up. Is like, no, you did this. The spear is just some stick, and he breaks it. And he's like, yeah, you're the one that gave all the power to Idolater. So. But Bugbear is just a tool in that one there.
So I mean, like that's sort of my feeling of him in general is that like it's just like we need someone big that can take a lot of punishment that's really dangerous and just put like there's not a lot of depth to what he wants.
Yeah.
And
well, he hungers. Like his motivation is just he hungers and he wants to eat, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I do say this last we see a Bugbear. There is one more appearance of Bugbear in the multiverse era.
Okay.
Do you know what it is? You do know what it is.
Well, not offhand.
It's Cosmic Contest.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
In Cosmic Contest, Jan says like, oh, and I'm going to, for some reason, take Bugbear from outside reality,
Yeah.
bring him into reality. He's like, oh my gosh, I'm back. I can tell that time has passed, but also everything is weird. What happened? And then a whole bunch of proletariats just go silly hats only on him. And he's like, oh no! And then he's sit back out of reality again. So he's stuck outside of reality. Time is passing and he's aware of it, but he has no consciousness in it. It's very strange. Then he like blips back into reality, gets beat up by a bunch of guys with hammers, and is back outside reality again, like that.
Great.
Rude. Oh, the other thing, do you happen to have, Adam? Because I do. The Devouring of Calypso by Bugbear.
Do I have that? Mystery Comics 467, July 2012.
Yeah, Mystery Comics Volume 2.
Yes.
Yeah, that is correct. Okay, interestingly, the wiki has, which means we said it. I think we said it in the multiverse recap episode. We said that Night Mist banishes Bugbear outside of reality in Mystery Comics 479, but that's not correct. Mystery Comics 479 is not. Mystery Comics 479 happens 4 months after Bugbear is banished outside reality.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Anyway, I wanted to go over all of that because people could look up most of that stuff on the... Oh, wait, there's a few. Sorry, I have a grab bag of notes. As well. So those are all like his bio and important things from episodes that I thought I talked about. Also, while listening to these episodes, I assembled here a few notes that I wanted to mention.
Okay.
I will do so now.
Tell me the notes.
We didn't talk about him in the Nightmare Supporting Cast episode because when questioned about it later, we're like, oh, well, it's because he's his own character. He's not Nightmare Supporting Cast. He's not notable in her stories. She's notable in one of his stories. And so he is not Nightmare Supporting Cast. Not that she's supporting cast to him either, just that there's that one story where
that's more notable for him than it is for her, though.
Very much so, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
He's the second most notable character that she's banished outside time and space.
For her, it was Tuesday.
Yeah, right. We've said before, we talked before about how he's not a bad guy because of the curse. He was both mean and malicious beforehand, and now he's better at it and more hungry. So,
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was running drugs and.
Yeah. He was an enforcer for drug cartel. Yeah.
Not a nice guy.
Nope. He's a magical creature, not a magic user. If that distinction is important.
That makes sense. Yeah.
We've said that his blood magic is specifically non-vampiric blood magic. When we did the blood magic episode, and we talked also about Court of Blood at a different time, people brought up Bugbear, and like, oh, so is Bugbear like a magic vampire sort of? He's absorbing the essence of other things, and he's eating and stuff like that. It's like, yeah, but his blood magic. Not all blood magic is vampire blood magic. Mm-hmm. And his blood magic isn't vampire blood magic.
Yeah, I also think that like his hunger is never sated. It's not
yes, correct. He must eat, but he doesn't ever.
It's not like I gain power from this and it's better. I just must.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah,
yeah. He's like there's the if you smoke cigarettes. Mm-hmm. When you're first smoking cigarettes, you're like, ooh, I get this nicotine high from smoking cigarettes.
Right.
But then you drop down much lower than baseline.
Right.
And then from then on out, once you're addicted to nicotine, getting nicotine doesn't bring you back up to that high. It brings you back up to your original baseline.
Right.
And so this is where he is, where he's like, oh, I eat so that I can feel normal, not so I can feel good. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. We mentioned that he has fought during the Fall of the Prime Warden's Prelude story. A good guy version of Bugbear fights evil naturalist in the Inversiverse.
Okay.
And post-Oblivion in the RPG era, Amit retrieves Bugbear from wherever Bugbear is. So
great.
Those are all the other things we know.
Why would she do such a thing?
That one is the least puzzling question of the.
What possible motive could she have?
I have way more. Why would we do such a thing about everything we've talked about here than why did she do that? That's the most like, oh, okay, that one makes sense.
Okay.
But the Rumble of the Jungle story is way more inscrutable than Amit going, oh, I'll take this powerful blood magic man beast and use him for something. Like, of course you
Okay, so our goal today...
is to do Writer's Room about Bugbear. And we could do any of the stories that we've already talked about today, but I feel like what would be really nice is if we could give Bugbear a bit more meat. Mm-hmm. He wants it. He frankly deserves it. He's a character that we claim is a certain big enough of a character, but everything we've done with him feels pretty small potatoes. Like, I think people have asked us before about regrets and about cutting room floor and about like things we would do differently. And in general, like the things that we would do differently, we just do them. And we've the Definitive Edition has given us a lot of opportunities to do that. But Bugbear, I think, is a character that we have just like consistently, the best job we've done of him is fine. And we are rarely doing the best job with him.
So I kind of feel like the thing that needs to happen with him is to give him a desire beyond the hunger.
Sure.
That like give him something else that he wants instead of just that.
Mm-hmm. I like that. Give him some more complex motivation.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like, why doesn't he just go to some small town and eat every person there and then go to the next?
And then go to the next. Yeah.
Like, clearly he's not out there eating thousands of people, but we've said power level wise he could. So why? Yeah.
And it's maybe there is something that like takes the edge off of that for a while, or it just like makes him like we can still have him be an evil, mean dude. We just need to
he for sure is
like
right.
We just need to make him not so much just an animal.
I agree.
Otherwise,
now here's the thing. I think that this silliness that we're expressing about Bugbear, is echoed in Sentinel Comics. I think in Sentinel Comics, Bugbear is a poorly used character. He's a fine character, but poorly used. And I think that is echoed by Rumble in the Jungle. The Rumble in the Jungle story is weird. They're like, oh, I guess he's in Supermouse chasing the Naturalist. Now Night Mist is here. Now Fanatic's here. Now Visionary's here. Now Hammer and Anvil are here. Well, at least that's where they live. So that makes sense.
Yeah, I think later appearances of Bugbear probably make less sense than earlier ones.
And right. So what I was thinking with this is like, this is a character who gets introduced in 79. I think it makes sense today to do some early 80s, but not 80 or 81. Like it's been a few years since we've introduced Bugbear. We've used Bugbear a few times, and we're expressing the exact thing we're expressing right now, which is like, wait a minute, he needs more motivation than just I hunger. Like, he can't just be out there killing thousands of people, or someone would notice and probably murder him. He needs more depth. So it makes sense to me that at least once in the 80s, and probably at least once in the 90s, and maybe at least once in the aughts, some writer's like, oh, you know what? I'm going to do something with Bugbear that makes the character work. And it maybe takes for a little bit, and then he keeps being a meh character, and ultimately the Rumble in the Jungle writer is like, you know what? We're just stop it. No more Bugbear. Fine. Great. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I think that's good.
Great. Do you want to just do it live? I think we can.
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
Yeah.
Great. I didn't know if after all of that info dump you wanted to hop off the air and chat about stuff, but I think we can just do it live.
I'm up to speed. I think we can figure this out.
Sweet. So, let me tell you about places we could do it. We could put it in Mystery Comics to try to give it a bit more like, oh, we're dealing with this there.
I would take him back to his crime roots a little for that.
Sure.
Is he an enforcer? Does he do work as an enforcer for other people?
I mean, it would make sense.
Like we've said, kind of he does. Yeah.
We could bump him, like, there's Space and Cosmic Tales. I think that's the wrong book. I don't think we even need to consider that, really.
Okay.
There is Space and Ra, God of the Sun. I don't think he's a Ra villain. I think that Bugbear doesn't make sense as a Ra villain because Ra just goes, huh. Bugbear's like, no.
I mean, maybe, unless I think
a story.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he probably like heals fast enough that Ra's fire doesn't like just one shot him. But
I don't. Yeah, but it's not an interesting matchup. I feel like
right. It's not.
I do like him. We've used him actually twice as a fanatic. Fighting Fanatic, not as a major Fanatic villain, but fighting Fanatic twice. And like I like him as a Fanatic because he can he rends her and then she heals and she smites him and he heals and it's like, oh, we just do this all day. Okay, great. Yeah. Tome of the Bazaar, there's some great space for Tome of the Bazaar, and it feels like a Tome of the Bazaar story. There's space in Freedom 5. I don't feel like that's the vibe. There's space in America's Finest Legacy. Ooh, Adam. There's space in Virtuous of the Void.
Okay.
Maybe.
All right.
Yeah.
So like each of these things is doing a very different thing.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like what I feel like we have basically infinite choices with him here.
Yes, including sending him to space, which we're not going to do.
Right.
Like we're not going to use Cosmic Tales. We're not going to use Freedom 5 or Legacy. We can't use Justice Comics. It doesn't exist.
Okay.
But yeah, and there's also Rook City Renegades. So Rook City Renegades and Mystery Comics gives us one angle. Tome of the Bazaar and Virtuous of the Void give us a different angle. There's differences between Tome of the Bazaar and Virtuous of the Void, and there's differences between Rook City Renegades and
But do we want to go? Do we want to steer into the crime stuff, or do we want to steer into the magic stuff?
Into the monster stuff. Yeah. Do we want to look at the man or the monster? Both of which we'll look obviously at both. But my fear with the Mystery Comics or Rook City Renegades story is that it makes him more of an urban threat, and I think that he is not that character. I don't think we see Bugbear in the big city, you know?
No, I mean we not necessarily. Yeah,
we could do a thing in either Rook City. I'm contradicting myself right now, but hey, that's my job. We could do a thing in Rook City Renegades or Mystery Comics that like he used to do Enforcer for Drug Cartel. Now he's this monster, and somebody reaches out to him and is like, "Hey, do you want to step up? You want?" And we do a chairman story.
But it's like his shot at being a little bit more of a big shot.
Well, and
like,
we could. This is if we do this in like 84, 85, we do this as a chairman is looking for a powerful ally, because it's not until the late 80s that we get the operative, and so this is like a hey, because we had Boris the Bear Sokolov, which I believe was in the late 70s.
I think that's right. Yeah, it's, 73 is when that was.
Early 70s. Great.
Yeah.
So it could be here we are again in the early to mid 80s, and he's like, oh, now I've got Bugbear for a pretty short amount of time, but maybe we could even have like a bit of an arc there that gives like Bugbear as chairman enforcer. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. Like, and I think that more than just like acting like the operative,
right? It wouldn't be. It's a different thing.
You could go, oh, hey, you still have these ties with these cartels, and I'm looking to expand, and I'm gonna do like have you in and out of town, and like
right, yeah.
So you're gonna be running this entire wing of an operation instead of just like
this
pushing
goes really
people around
well
for me.
Yeah. This goes really well. This story that we're positing, because I think we're starting to get the shape of it. It goes really well in mystery comics in one of the off months or off issues. There's 2 issues a month.
Yeah.
And one of the issues each month is more about Wraith, and the other issue is about how Rook City is bad, yo.
Yeah.
And so having this issue where like it's not very hero focused.
Yeah.
We've got the chairman rescues essentially Bugbear at the beginning and then offers him a job, and Bugbear's like, okay, cool. But then we deal with the duality of like, oh yeah, I want to do this job because it's more opportunity and I can get a control of my powers and things like this. Like the chairman can give him some sort of like, hey, I can do this vat thing for you, a different vat, but I got this like special vat for you that can suppress your hunger, or that can take the place of your hunger, but you work for me.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, I like that.
All right. Let me find a spot for it here.
He just like comes back here for treatments and then
right. Yeah. But it's like look, I'll pay you money, sure, fine. And like I'll get you'll be part of the organization, but the main thing I'm doing for you is making it so your powers aren't devouring you from the inside out. And this gives us a precedent for Chairman Pike having a vat that keeps him eternally youthful and powerful, and later the like this sets up a lot of good stuff for the organization. This is like
it does.
It means Bugbear is the trial run of the truly powerful chairman and organization setup that we see later.
Yeah, that's great. Okay,
and we do it before we get the first reappearance of Mr. Fixer as Mr. Fixer, because we that happens in May of '86.
Yeah, so he can fight. He could fight. Wraith or Parse here.
You can fight Wraith and Parse. We've got to be close enough. Expatriate's got to be an option for him. This era.
Is she? Let's look here.
Because she's in Rook City Renegades pretty right off the bat.
81.
Yeah.
Her first appearance.
And the soonest I'm looking at doing this is 84.
Okay.
And he's different enough from Spite. Bugbear's bigger than Spite. Until Spite's real big, but don't worry about that.
Spite's real big, yeah.
But
I also think that
it's also the same era as Death Fiend stuff.
This is like I don't know if he finds other ways as he goes in comics to sate the hunger or whatever, because like as it is, it seems like there's not a lot of reason for other villains to work with him.
Right. Yeah, so, he's a danger to everyone and everything. Why would anybody work with him?
Right. Yeah. So this helps. This sets a precedent for like something can temporarily fix him, and he just needs to have that thing.
All right.
Quote unquote fix. He's still a super bad guy.
Yes.
You can't fix being evil.
Yeah, because the chairman in this era is also dealing with Parse. Parse is a big problem for the chairman. We have a big Parse stuff around issue 100 of Mystery Comics Volume 2, where like Parse defeats Wraith, not murders obviously, but defeats Wraith and is like, look, you do what is right, I do what is necessary. And so that's cool. Then we have a Wraith story in issue 105. Issue 106 is, I think, this Bugbear and organization story, which is September of 84. Does that sound good to you?
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. So now we have finally come to what today's writer's room is, which is Mystery Comics Volume 2, Number 106.
Month and year.
September of 1984.
Parse was introduced in May of 84, so.
Oh, shoot, Adam. Yeah.
What's up?
This is Cuthbert again.
Oh.
But this is very different Cuthbert.
Yeah.
This is Cuthbert right when he first got started, and he was taking over for Diller. Diller had been doing all this mystery comic stuff, and then Cuthbert was introduced and was like, hey, this is keep doing this stuff, but we need more like human interest here. Yeah. And so this makes perfect sense. Cuthbert, like, man, I wish we weren't doing two Cuthbert stories almost in a row. It's not quite in a row, but it's kind of, they're close to each other.
That's completely fine.
It is. But like,
given the basis there, that's.
Yeah. And the artist, Adam, is Michael Crown. All right, Adam. So I think this issue opens with Bugbear in a cage.
Okay.
A slavering beast attacking the bars, while people like very carefully like, oh shoot, use a chain hoist to get the cage up and over and dunk it in some sort of vat. And he's like, oh, struggling in the vat, and passes out. And they pull him out of the vat and then dump him on the ground. And he's slimy Bugbear now. And he's like, whoa, what's going on? And the chairman is standing there, like just right off the bat. And he's like, oh, Morris Dougal, I hope you're feeling a little bit more yourself now. And he's like, what? What happened? I don't feel the hunger. I think we just go right into it. Let's just be like, hey, here's this character, here's Bugbear, and we can even have
Chairman's like, I'm familiar with your work.
Right. And you do a quick chairman introduces Bugbear to the readers, is like,
how do you know all this expository stuff?
Right. It's like, you are known as a dangerous, hungering beast of a man with some sort of blood powers, clearly beyond that of normal human form. But I am familiar.
I can give you purpose.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I'm familiar with your work from before that, with your simple, cartel enforcer status, and I'm hoping your connections and my empire can work together to both of our benefit. And he's like, yeah, cool, man. More questions about the sludge? Why did you dunk me in the sludge? And also, the sludge, I don't know, seems pretty good. He's like, oh, yes, come back here for regular treatments whenever you want. I will pay you in money and power and fame. He's like, but the main thing I can give you access to is this vat that is here for your making your powers under your control instead of them being a leash. And he's like, well, one thing I know is someone always holds the leash, so I assume that new someone is you, right? And he's like, yeah, well, wouldn't you rather someone holding the holder of the leash has your best interest at heart? And he's like, I used to think only I had my best interest at heart, but the last few years have proven to me that that's not even true.
So does Chairman have like a failsafe here?
Sure, but I don't think we see it.
Okay. Do we mention it? Like,
I think we get it later.
Okay.
I think that we later give Bugbear a reason to, because in this moment
to turn on, like he's like, what? Like, why am I working for you?
Why am I dealing with you?
Yeah,
right. Anyway,
right.
And then we see him like,
I just take care.
And that's that. And I think that's like the end of the issue.
Okay.
Is Bugbear's the protagonist of this story, of this issue.
Okay. So all right. So we see like him like what run an op basically, or
sure.
I
think we have we have him do a Rook City thing.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Let's just. I have the outline in my head, so I think we can just go scene by scene and call it good. And
okay. Great.
Yeah. So we have him.
We have this first scene with the chairman.
Yeah.
And then,
we have him do a Rook City thing that involves no super stuff. A Rook City thing that shows off, because at this point we've had Chairman tell us about Bugbear, but we probably haven't seen Bugbear for at least a little bit in comics, for one, and for two, we definitely haven't seen him in this context.
Okay.
So I think we need to see him do a like, oh, they show up and there's some rival criminals. I was like, oh, well, first off, the chairman's like, well, first off, there's this group trying to establish a foothold. I think there's some former compatriots of yours, and I want them taken care of. And he's like, oh, you want me to like go and make a deal with them? And he's like, no, I want them to not exist in my city anymore. There's a reason I've hired you and not a diplomat. And so we see Bugbear like turn to loose.
Yeah, I mean, I think that we can show like a little bit more control here, so that he can go like, all right, hey, here's your option. You join the organization. Start giving us X amount, which is an unreasonable cut.
Right, you're gonna give us
obviously.
an 80% cut. It's like, how are we supposed to make money?
Yeah, and he's like, I don't care, and they're like, yeah, well, who are you? And they pull guns on him, and then he just tears them all up.
I like this, but we're close. What I want is he shows up and he's like, listen, guys. He's like, who's this? And one of the enforcers that's like the shadowy figure walking up, and they're like, who's this? And he's like, hey, I'm just here to talk. And one of the enforcers is like, oh shoot, Morris, is that you? I haven't seen you in years.
I know you. Yeah.
What, you look. You've been working out. He's like, I
got a new thing.
They got a new thing. That's right.
Yeah.
But and they have this this interaction where he's like, look, fellas, my new boss, he doesn't like the work you're doing here, and he wants you gone. But I think there's an opportunity here. If you can give us just like, a nice 70% cut of everything you're doing here, I can convince my boss to keep you guys around, and then you'll be part of something bigger with some real job security, And he's like, 70% cut. How are we supposed to make any money? And I think he's like, hey man, you've changed. You've sold out, and you're now trying to sell us out. Like, you come in here with just by yourself making your threats. I don't think you're the friend that we thought you were. And he's like, you're right about
friends.
that. And then it's
I don't
massacre
have friends.
time.
Yeah,
right.
So he tears all those guys apart.
Yep.
They shoot at him a bunch, and he doesn't do anything.
Well, it does. It does something, but there's something.
But he's like, I don't really care.
Right.
Yeah.
Great. So he leaves his mark in that way. Cool. Then I think we're gonna have him.
I mean, that's enough for Parse to notice. Also,
right. But we're not gonna have Parse just yet, because next we're gonna send Bugbear to the cartels.
Okay.
Now Bugbear ends up in Colombia. And this gives it. So the first Bugbear we see is monster Bugbear, right?
Yeah.
We dump him in a vat. Now does not have the upper hand, but has a chance to be something different. We kind of go back to monster Bugbear, but with more control. For the second scene. This scene, I kind of want, just because I think it's fun, to have like Bugbear show up, and it's Morris Dougal in like a white suit.
Yeah.
And he's like, because especially if we have a bit of violence in this, the Bugbear side of violence in a white suit is a lot on a page.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's visually striking.
Right. Yeah,
certainly.
Yeah. So we have him go to cartels. He's like, look, I'm here to make a deal. And someone's like, what deals? We're not making deals. We're the one that controls the supply. We're the one that controls all the money. He's like, yeah, but in Rook City, that's not the case. You have to play ball. And like I think we have somebody shoot him, and he goes, okay, great. And he tears out their throat, and he goes, anyway, so who wants to talk to me? Because
I think that we go, like that's kind of just what happened. So like I think that he. Like if he's talking with the main guy, that he, I think that it might be stronger to have him just like kill the main guy, and then go, all right, who's next in line, basically.
Right. Yeah.
And then,
so I like that where he goes, he's like, we have a meeting, we have a talk. He's like, okay, oh, you're in charge of the cartels, fantastic. Murders him. He's like, no, I'm not even going to talk to you.
Yeah.
Who now wants to step into his shoes and have a real conversation? He was never going to play ball.
Yeah,
that's great. I like that. So he takes a few heads
got
down,
like a handkerchief wiping the blood off. His suit's like covered in blood still.
but he's like, oh, we gotta keep my hands clean.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and we finally get someone who's just like, yep, right, great. Let's play. He's like, fantastic, my friend. You're about to become fabulously wealthy. Like that's how this is gonna go. So then we return to Rook City. We're going to go talk to the chairman about how good things have gone. And we get ambushed by Parse.
Cool.
She's like, I've been waiting for you, monster. You can't. You think you could just show up in my town? Which she's Australian. Don't worry about it.
Adopted town, mate.
You're here for a spot of brekkie. You think you could just show up here and start murdering and get away with it? Parse versus Bugbear is a fun fight.
Yeah.
Because she could shoot him with an arrow, and he goes, I don't care about that arrow. And she goes, oh, now I know you don't care about that arrow. So she's like, fine. She can like pin. He's charging.
She can do everything 100% right.
Yeah.
And still fail here.
Yeah.
That's what's cool about it.
Yeah. And we can have her do things where he dives there, lunges at her, and she puts an arrow through his foot into the floor. So he's like, oh, shoot! Like he
smacks his jaw on the ground.
Right. Like, she can stop him, but not forever. Not for more than a moment. So I do think that he gets a slash, he slashes her arm, and she's like, oh, ooh, I can't pull my bow. I'm very injured now. And she eventually has to flee. And so when he shows back up at the chairman, he's like, little trouble on the way here? He's like, nah, no big deal. And the chairman's like, I've been waiting for quite some time for someone to tell me that's no big deal.
Yeah. She's been a problem, so.
Yeah. And this is where we have Bugbear come to the chairman and be like, all right, so I was
doing some thinking. Yeah.
All right, I dealt with the low-level thugs here in Rook City, got you your supply line there. I went to the cartels, dealt with some political stuff there, got everybody, doing what I say they should be doing. Everything's great there. Going to give us exactly what we need. Here's the thing, though. I don't know why I'm just your lapdog here, though. I don't know why I'm your errand boy.
You're just a guy.
You're just some guy. It seems like I'm the one doing all the hard work. And, I need your vats, but what if they were my vats? And I think we have him, dive at, charge the chairman, and just hit an invisible wall. Not a force field, but an invisible wall that is internal to Bugbear that he lunges forward and then crumples on the ground. And he's like, yes, right. It's like, no worries. The chairman's like, genuinely no hard feelings. I appreciate your ambition. I hired you for a reason. But at the same time, obviously I can't have an incredibly powerful and dangerous man with close access to me without having complete control. And so you'll find that the vat that prevents your hunger from making you into a mindless beast also prevents you from attempting to harm me in any way. And you're gonna hurt for a few weeks now. This essentially all your cells just slammed you to a stop. This is going to be harder for you to heal from than any number of bullets or arrows. Adam, I was thinking that by the end of this issue that this would be like wrapped up, but I don't think it is.
No, I don't think so either. I think this is there's part of an ongoing thing.
I think we have an era. I don't think it's long. I think it's probably less than a year. Maybe.
Well, I don't think it's. I mean, it's maybe a year's worth of comics, but I don't think it's consecutive. I don't think we follow Bugbear this entire
That's
time.
Right. I think this is the only issue in which we see Bugbear as a protagonist. I think this issue we follow Bugbear. So by the end of this issue, Bugbear's got a cushy job comparatively, and he's got more self-control, but he's very aware of his leash. And at the beginning, he was offered all this freedom from his power.
Yeah, but I think we get a nice shot of how angry he is about that too.
But he's
he does not
angry, but somewhat resigned. And then we'll face him with heroes from here on out, and then we will sometime in honestly, it could be a pretty early Mr. Fixer story that Mr. Fixer defeats Bugbear, paving the way for a new right-hand operative for the organization.
I think that how does defeating Bugbear do that though? I don't think that just defeating him does. I think that Mr. Fixer can maybe use chi or something to remove the toxin or the sludge from the system.
Right. I think that I think part of defeating Bugbear can look like also defeating Bugbear as utility for the chairman.
This is really cool. So I wasn't thinking even as utility. We could do a thing where Mr. Fixer basically, purifies some of the stuff and turns him back into an animal mostly.
Right.
But he returns to the chairman and is like, "Hey, I'm back. I did this job." And chairman's like, "What?" I heard that you didn't do the job. What's up with that? And he's like, "Well, the rules have kind of changed." And attacks the chairman. We get a fight between them at that point.
We have a little coda. at the end.
And Chairman completely manhandles him.
Right. Like, Chairman defeats him. Probably Chairman gets roughed up, but defeats him. But
so that we get to see that it wasn't.
Suffice it to say, you're fired moment.
Yeah. That's cool. Do we want to determine where that is while we're here?
Already done so.
Great. For future us, so that we don't regret it.
I like that the start of this era also, by the way, is Bugbear essentially defeats Parse.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't think Bugbear works for the chairman as, like, I don't think the Bugbear has a title of the operative. I think we have the chairman and Bugbear, and Bugbear works for the chairman. I think the operative is the first time that we see somebody who has, like, that title. Because, like, Boris Sokolov, the bear, wasn't, like, specifically, didn't have the operative title either. You know?
Yeah.
There have been other people who've had this role. But, anyway, point is,
we got Bugbear, a good few years of him being a really vicious, dangerous enforcer, though, here. So
Yep. Until November of 1987 in issue 171.
There's the number, 171?
171. And so from late in 84, or mid 84, until late in 87, yeah. But that fits really well, and that fits well with the Fixer story that we told here. Fixer gets introduced in 86. A year and a half later, he takes down Bugbear, and then the operative doesn't show up until May of 89. So we get a couple of years of the chairman, the organization, all that, but not with a specific right-hand person.
Okay. So as things go for this character, it gets a little bit less cohesive towards the late aughts.
Oh, yeah.
And so, like, we start seeing the more animalistic thing, but I think that we can do, like, a few stories throughout of, like, different ways of pacifying enough to have, like, some ambition.
But this gives us the idea of, like, who Morris Dougal is more. This gives us like the ability to have more different Bugbear times, more interest in the character.
He's always greedy. He's always selfish. He's always mean.
Yeah, right. And so even given this opportunity to work for the chairman, he's like, oh, things are going all right. I want more. He always wants more.
Yeah.
That even when with his supernatural hunger satisfied by the vats, his avarice is not.
That's the real hunger.
Yeah. The real hunger was inside him the whole time. Yeah.
Okay. I feel better about him.
Yeah. I think that we've gathered up some loose threads and also given him a different story. But it's still a story where he is not like fully, A, he's not fully in control. And B, when he's at his most in control, it's because of someone else being in control of him. So it keeps him as being not truly his own person, which is in keeping with Bugbear. I'm not looking to make Bugbear a bigger or more important character than he is, but I am wanting to justify his existence.
Yeah, justify why. I mean, like we gave him a deck, so
right. And I think at this point I feel better about that. And if there were ever to hypothetically be a time in the future in which he were to get another deck, which who can say? You know, there's no way to know. Maybe he has a deck of desperation. It's not out yet. You'll never know.
That's true.
But if we were to ever get a deck again in the future, I feel better already now about it and about who he is. Rumble in the Jungle's still weird.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with that because it is taking a messy character history and going, let's just tie it up.
Yeah.
And then even in the attempt to tie it up, they're like, well, we've got this other story going on right now. And since he's an Insular Permalis, can we throw Hammer and Anvil in there? It's like, I guess. Geez, sure. I think that would be a book that, like, if you and I picked up Rumble in the Jungle and we're like, okay, Bugbear, cool. All right, Naturalist. Oh, Night Mist is here. We like Night Mist. Oh, now Fanatic's here. We like Fanatic. And they're fighting Hammer and Anvil. Okay, cool. And now he's gone. What was that book?
I feel like by issue 4, I'd be like, what is this doing? I have to keep getting it because I've got the first 4, but like,
right. And there's only 2 issues left. I might as well pick them up. And then when you do, you're like, well, that did tie it up, I guess.
There have definitely been those series that I was like, I'm into this, and then by the 4th or 5th issue, I'm like, I'm not, but I have to finish. Like,
did you have a plan?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. We did it.
Okay.
We did it.
I hope that people like him more.
I hope people like him more, and I hope people get a feel for what we're doing with him because, like, I think if nothing else, this episode will tell you that we agree with any Bugbear complaints about, like, what is this character even? We're like, yes. Yes. Hopefully you have a better feel for him now. We certainly do.
Yeah, I think so. He's someone I'm more confident bringing into another story after this.
Yeah. I know that after this issue, or after this episode, I'm sure we will get some interesting Bugbear questions in future episodes. But Adam,
yes,
I'm excited to tell you, I've got some interesting Bugbear questions right here.
All right.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam.
All right, Adam. The first letter today is from ancient times. It's written years ago by Pricey Provinces.
Nice, okay.
Who writes, "Hello, Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Better buckle up because this is a long one. I've got a couple of questions, but first I want to know, what's the deal with Bugbear?"
I think it's funny that this constituted a long letter.
It's not a long letter.
It's not. Yeah,
No.
I'm like looking at the length. I was like, this is not okay. It doesn't even take up a whole screen.
I think it is tied for the longest letter we're going to read today.
I think that letters were a lot shorter back then in general, though. But
Yeah, well, as the podcast has grown, so have the letters, and so have the
too.
people listening to it. All right, so what's the deal with Bugbear? Looking at all the information we have, this guy just can't get a break. He gets cursed in a Central American pyramid, manipulated and controlled by many nemesis, Amit and the Idolater, pitted often against Nightmist and the Visionary, hardly a fair matchup, single-handedly hunts down the Naturalist, only for Akash Thria to interfere and Plague Rat to later steal the spotlight, gets fixed by Nightmist, does some hero work before the fixing wears off, and gets put outside time. If that wasn't enough, he gets pulled out of non-space only to lose to a fairly normal dude whose power only created more meat sacrifices for a bloodstone. At this point, I don't blame Janssen for tossing him right back where he was. To top it all off, this poor sap doesn't even have his own episode unless this was read during his episode. It has been read during his episode, far in the future, in which characters don't have episodes anymore.
yeah,
With that being said...
mostly constitutes an episode for him.
Yeah, right. That being said, what makes Bugbear a foe to fear in the multiverse era? Does he have any notable victories or events that prove a severe challenge for the heroes, or is he just a laughingstock of the villains? Well, this one time he pretty handily took down Parse.
Yeah, I don't think he's a laughingstock.
I don't think he's a laughingstock, but I also don't think he is like, oh, Bugbear. Like, I think people are like, oh, Bugbear. Yeah, he's scary, but I don't think about him very much.
Yeah. It's interesting because the term Bugbear is supposed to be like a boogeyman or like,
and I think he kind of is, except that he's not. He's so rarely around. So there's like, oh shoot, Bugbear might coming back around again. People are going. There will be death. There will be death on panel.
Yeah, it's true. If anyone's like working, like if anyone is using Bugbear,
right? People will die.
Working with him if he's doing any work for it. That there's going to be a body count.
Yeah. Right.
It's just, is it going to be a directed body count or is it going to be a chaotic body count?
But I don't think, like the question here, does he have any notable victories or events? I don't think he has any notable, like, Bugbear is the main villain and he has a plot. I don't think that's, like, I think that we get some, like, oh, Bugbear is a scary monster. He's a scary mob monster in this story that we did today. And in other stories, he's a scary magic monster. And I think we have those stories. But
I think he's consistently always a severe challenge for the heroes.
Yeah.
Like, it's never like, he's never used as a jobber. Like, not like Hippo is.
He's not Hippo, right. Hippo and Bugbear are similar, like, you're like, oh, look, big, strong, scary guy, except Hippo is easily dispatched and Bugbear is never easily dispatched.
Yeah. That's the big, is like, they build up Bugbear very well, I think.
Yeah.
In that he's never undercut.
And then we get to the point of Nightmist having a few issues of like redeeming him to being like his calm self. Mm-hmm. But even that, he's still more monster than man.
Yeah.
And Nightmist's like, I just can't deal with you. Second, when he initially tries to throw away the Bloodstone, he's hit with intense pain and senses his life essence is tied to the stone. If an attack were directed at the stone, would it damage Bugbear as well? And how heavy would that attack need to be to destroy the stone entirely? If the stone was destroyed, would Bugbear cease to exist or explode or rapidly age?
So my feeling is that no, the stone is not like a weak point for him unless you attack it magically.
Yeah, I think that the stone, I think the stone is a weak point for him, but you
But, like,
can't
Pars
just
can't just shoot an arrow at it.
but you can't just attack it. I think the stone, like if you shoot a gun at it, or I think that you could shoot a bomb at it. Like I think you could put it in the middle of a nuclear blast and it wouldn't destroy the stone.
Yeah, you have to destroy it magically.
But if you attack the stone magically, I think that like Arjun Adam could go "Fwink," and send a line of magic at the stone, and Bugbear will go, "Jeez, ow, pain!" Like I think the stone is a physical representation of his life force.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I more mean when I say it's not a weak point, it's not just something you can hit, and it's not a glowing red weak point. Like
It's not a glowing red weak point because it's not weak. But it is, if you have the means to attack it, definitely a point of vulnerability for him.
probably where you should be attacking. Yes.
If you can, right. Now, if the stone were destroyed, let's say Scholar walks up and goes, "Oh, this looks cute," and pinches it and it ceases to exist. It wouldn't be that trivial, but still, let's say Scholar transmutes the stone into lead. I think if you did that, Bugbear would be like, "Oh, jeez," and his blood would turn to lead.
Yeah. I think that it is bound. Like if you destroy it, he's gone. He's dead.
I don't think he ceases to exist or explodes. I think he's just like, ugh. I think it'd be the same as if you suddenly teleported all of someone's blood out of their body.
Yes. Yeah. So
You would just wither and die immediately.
Yeah.
Right, but I don't think he would cease to exist, explode, or rapidly age.
Right.
I think he just withers and dies.
Just fall down. Yeah.
Lifeless. A husk. A husk is necrosis. It's necrosis the whole time.
Oh no. The whole time.
Finally, is the ancient jungle pyramid ever revisited, either by Bugbear or a magic user, to investigate what other sources of magic could be there? We know Night Mist is somewhat familiar with Bugbear's curse. She's familiar with Bugbear's curse in that she saw him and was like, "Oh, this is a person who's cursed," but not like, "Oh, I know what curse you have." You know? Okay. So did she track down the source to make sure others didn't also meet the same fate? Well, the source is the stone. And so the source is no longer there. If someone were to go to that temple, they could be like, "Oh, shoot.
He basically accidentally did a ritual at that temple, but
yeah, right."
But I also think that
he
that
sacrificed
temple,
himself on the blood altar.
Right. Yeah. I also though think that temple is just like kind of magically disappeared. That it's like,
oh, interesting.
Yeah, that he's like, like maybe I'll go back there for more power and like can't find it. And,
yeah.
Like
I was gonna say, I think that like you could go back to the temple and be like, "Oh, this place is magically inert. Like this place was a magical ritual
it just
set
like all
up
got
for
used.
one thing." And for whatever reason, whoever had created this temple to do this ritual never got around to using it. Something happened to them, and this ritual
Now
was
it's just an empty room.
prepped. And now, with the stone removed and the ritual completed, it's just like, okay, I could see Night Mist investigating it and be like, "Oh, I can read about this."
I mean, if we want to also heighten the origin a little bit, like we can have it collapsing as he's leaving. Also, because he's drained it of the power.
That's
like,
cool. Like when he wakes up at the temple, he's like, "Whoa, this place is in really good shape. This doesn't feel like a ruin."
Yeah,
but then like it rapidly ages and crumbles in on itself.
And he's like running, and like that's also
cool.
where you go like, "Oh, I'm extra strong. I lift this out of my way. I'm extra fast."
Stone pillar falls on it, and he bats it out of the way, and he's like, "What?" I was trying to just like catch it. And
that's a good way to show his powers early too.
That's cool to have him have a explode out of the temple moment. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's what happens.
Yeah, there we go.
As intended this whole time. The letter concludes, "I apologize for this monster of a letter, but given Bugbear lost me the cosmic contest way back when, I feel like I need to understand more about this tragic villain. Thanks to the podcast. I hope you had an enjoyable Friday." I totally understand why in the contest of Bugbear and Proletariat, you'd be like, well, Bugbear could eat a lot of proletariats, but A, he was a bit discombobulated, and B, Proletariat, like, he's good at stuff.
Yeah.
And Bugbear's not very controlled. Proletariat is quite controlled.
All right.
Thank you for your letter.
I too have a letter from Prezi Robinson.
Oh, man!
Who writes, "Hello, masterminds of the multiverse.
This is a very recent letter.
The long-awaited Bugbear episode is here. I recall already submitting at least one longish Bugbear letter for this episode back in ancient times, so I'll try to keep this one brief."
I will say, your description here more accurate. It was longish.
Longish, yeah. Do Bugbear and Apex or Bugbear and Alpha ever encounter each other? How would they fare against each other? Could Bugbear be blood leashed in a similar manner to Apex, or is he a much different brand of blood magic fueled beast man?
Okay.
Bugbear as an Apex foe sounds pretty okay. As an Alpha foe sounds pretty okay.
I definitely see Bugbear working in the Alpha book. I also see Bugbear, your slip of the tongue I don't think is incorrect. I could see Bugbear and Apex clashing.
Yeah.
Where Apex is like, I'm Apex, and Bugbear is like, in an alternate reality, that's my name too. Because that's
I mean, the question becomes, though, how much Apex content is there?
no,
like-
right. Yeah.
Well,
No,
is how much Apex versus other people? Like, right.
yeah.
Alpha's got plenty of room.
Yeah, for sure. I like the idea of Bugbear being like werewolves.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. And because a werewolf attacking and slashing and biting a Bugbear, and he's like, I mean, ow, that does hurt. I'm better,
Yeah.
I'm better now.
Yeah.
But it hurt.
But that's just a good fight, too. The
Yeah.
Alpha and Bugbear.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
He heals much faster than her.
Yeah.
I think that he has a higher. I think that he heals faster and has more hit points, but she deals more damage than he does. I don't think he's very damaging, but I think that she, when she's really dealing damage,
Yeah.
is more damaging than he is.
Yeah, I think so, too. Yeah.
But like how do you kill Bugbear? I mean, you blow up the
with
stone.
magic. You blow
Right.
up the stone with magic. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But how would Alpha kill Bugbear if she
I
wanted
think
to?
that you could do enough damage to him that he needs to spend a little time recovering.
Yeah, I think that if you
but you have to
completely
do a
atomized
lot.
Bugbear, Bloodbear, if you completely atomized Bugbear, but the Bloodstone survived, it wouldn't. I think that if you destroyed,
what you do is you do like a spike trap that he can't physically get out
sure.
of.
Yeah.
It's like
He's just like stuck on these spikes that are currently
just stuck there. Yeah.
stabbing him, and he's like, yeah. No, but so I think that if you destroyed enough of his, like the majority of his physical form and his brain and his heart and his blood and all that, the Bloodstone would shatter. I think that I don't think the Bloodstone could reform him from nothing.
Right. It's not like some characters that can regenerate from a single drop of blood.
Yeah, no, he's not like that. He's not like that.
It's an insane amount of regeneration, but like,
Yep. And the trick is you have to destroy him like that. You have to do it all at once because he's healing so fast, so constantly. So
yeah.
yeah.
Letter continues with Citizen Dawn aware of Bugbear's presence and dinosaur snacking on her island during the Rumble in the Jungle arc. Until you least expect it, pricey provinces.
I don't. So Citizen Dawn. This was in her. I am not to be seen. I have disappeared era.
Yeah, she was on a mobile defense platform. I think.
I think that I think she's gone.
She's not on the island though.
Well, but citizens are, because that's why we have Hammer and Anvil there. So I think this is. I don't think this is mobile defense platform flying around.
But Hammer and Anvil are like sent out on missions to different places for different reasons.
Yeah. I think this is the let me double check. I'm probably wrong. Citizen Dawn disappears as a result of Sunrise in 2000. She's definitely back by 2013. So no, she's back, but she's not. The answer's got to be yes. I think that she is still, because she uses a mobile defense platform, but I do still think that they're.
I don't have the mobile defense platform in the spreadsheet, but I have the Citizens Imperative one shot, and they're like working on her behalf, but she's still in recovery in 2004.
Right, but that's 2004. This is a decade later.
Yeah.
So
we don't see a lot of her anyway, because I think that the attitude is like, well, we've kind of told the Citizen Dawn story.
We've told a few big ones. So like Citizen, I think that she's still. The idea is like, she's added Silver Malice, but we don't really do it a lot. And there's once in a while things, and it harkens back to it. But I think there is a bit where like the younger readership of Sentinel Comics during Oblivion, she has her big show up and do a thing moment, and there was a little bit of like, who's that?
Maybe I think that there's cultural knowledge of her.
Yeah,
though.
she's
Like,
iconic. She's massive.
She's one of those characters that you feel like there should be more stories than there are.
Yeah.
Like you go, she's just like always there. She's like the main villain, right? And like,
yeah,
she's not, but the stories are huge,
right,
and impactful. So,
and probably get reprinted with some regularity.
Yeah.
So yeah, Citizen Dawn was aware of Bugbear on Insular Malice.
Okay.
I have a letter from Brian LeWolfhunt, who writes, Dear CNA, hi, I was one of the people who campaigned for a Bugbear story, but it isn't because he is a particular favorite of mine. Indeed, it is because he isn't particularly noteworthy that I wanted this, as he now gets the chance to get an interesting story and possibly a few fans. He needs a 12-year-old in Nebraska to champion him so he can earn that team villain deck as well as the spot in Cosmic Contest that should have been given to Apex. Anyway, questions.
Well, I think that's been accomplished. I think that Cosmic Contest spot is warranted.
Whether it is or not, we've talked about this before. We certainly need to do something to explain where all the people who weren't in Cosmic Contest were, because there's a bunch of them. But I am not interested.
You just have to, because nothing's happening during it. It's like,
right. I mean, why were they left out?
Oh, well, because she picked.
Right. But I don't want to relitigate. Here's who is and who isn't in Cosmic Contest, and here's how those fights go. That I'm happy with how that book turned out.
Right.
Though I don't know if Adam is happy with that cover.
Probably not. No.
You've mentioned before that you hate that cover.
It's a fine cover. It's just like
the composition of it is fine, but the last time you looked at the art of it, you were like, "Oh, I hate it."
Yeah, my drawing sucked back then. So
your drawing had not flowered as much as your drawing has now.
Thank you.
You were still growing. Now you're fully grown.
Fully grown, and I will never get any better at art.
No, you'll only diminish.
Thanks for that. Great.
Does Bugbear have a particular rationale for who he targets? Assuming the Enhanced Edition cards are still canon, I know, big assumption. He doesn't seem to be limited to humans, as he's shown eating what I think is dinosaur meat, nor do his targets even need actual blood since he absorbs Calypso. Does he just get fixated on something and can't stop until he eats it? Thank you for your time, creators. Brian. So he needs to absorb life essence of things. Life essence.
Yeah, I was going to say, this is kind of skirting around the real question here, which is Bugbear a cannibal? And I think the answer is, strictly speaking, no. He doesn't eat human flesh.
Okay.
He
drinks Calypso.
Is
drinking Calypso cannibalism?
No, I don't think so.
Interesting.
I don't think so.
You don't think Bugbear, in his most out of his mind animalistic, would eat a person? You don't think he would?
I don't think necessarily that he wouldn't, but I don't think that it's ever depicted. I don't know that
it's ever depicted, but I think it's implied heavily enough that it's like, okay, look, he definitely has eaten.
I think there's a fandom debate about this. Probably.
Right. I think there's people debating.
We've never seen him eat one.
No way, never cannibalism. Yeah. And other people are like, Bugbear definitely eats a guy. He definitely eats a guy.
Yeah, but it's strictly speaking life essence that he requires, and it doesn't matter if it's from a human or not. Like a dinosaur, life essence is
right. Well, and he also needs to eat for sustenance. So
yeah,
I think that in the scene in today's issue when he tears the throat out of the cartel leader, when he's wiping his hands with the handkerchief, I think he also pats his mouth because he gets some blood in his face, and people are like, see,
yeah.
He eats. I think every little thing, and I think that's enough of a minor, but it's enough of a minor debate that creators have decided, we're just going to stay out of it. We're going to give people hints both ways and let people believe what they believe.
Yeah,
I think he's eaten it, man.
I don't think that. Yeah.
You don't think about it. Of course he has.
Well, no. So here's the thing with
drinking
characters.
Calypso counts. Drinking Calypso counts as cannibalism.
I don't think it counts, but
it absolutely does. She's a person.
Yeah,
and he drinks her up. He drinks the whole Calypso.
His straw comes all the way across the room.
Yep.
And he drinks Calypso. He drinks her up.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I don't that's one of those doors that can never be shut once it's opened, and I don't think that anyone is willing. I don't think that any editorial staff is willing to open that door.
I agree, and I agree that it never happens on panel. The closest we get to it is drinking Calypso, but I'm not saying it ever happens. I'm not saying it's ever we have purely canonized the cannibalism. But I think it is ridiculous to imagine the character of Bugbear and say, he never eats a person, and be like, what? Of course he does. We've seen him use his teeth to attack people Surely
Yeah.
he's taken a bite. There's no reason that he wouldn't. We can be like,
boy.
that he has this hard line to say. It's like, oh yes, I have hunger from a blood magic point of view. I will never eat a person. Wait, hold on. Why?
No, I don't think that he has. I don't think that there's like a moral stance of like I will never do this. I
Right.
just think that like
We definitely never see it. 100% agreed.
yeah. And I think that there's like a vacillation of intent in
Sure.
terms of the writing staff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much like we are experiencing right here on this episode between you and I being the writer's staff.
That's great.
You're like, no, I want to be eating people. And I'm like, I don't know, bud. I don't know about all that.
Well, I like we could, and I think it's similar to the red staff. It's like, well, we could agree that it's a bad idea and we're not going to do it, but it happens.
Yeah. All right. I got a letter from Apostate's intern who writes, "Good evening, gentlemen, quote unquote, gentlemen.
Woof.
It is I, the entity currently in control of Apostate's intern account. The day has come. Bugbear is nigh, and hopefully we will get some new insights into why you decided to give him a quote unquote deck in quote unquote enhanced edition, if that is its real name. Huzzah, glad to see it. But without further ado, I have some questions, some of which, for all I know, you could have answered in the overview of the episode. About when in the metaverse is the Nightmare tries to help Bugbear reform? Also, would Harpy have been around during this time? And if so, what was her opinion about Bugbear?
Yeah, there isn't like a big Night Mist tries to help Bugbear reform arc. Is a thing that happens in Rumble in the Jungle, and it is resolved by the end of Rumble in the Jungle. It's 4 issues of it.
Yeah.
Issues 3, 4, 5, and 6 deal with that from start to finish. Harpy is not in that story.
Yeah.
Because it's not a Dark Watch story. It's just a Night Mist is there in a naturalist. It's a weird grab bag of character story.
It is.
Her opinion of Bugbear would be like, this guy sucks.
Yeah.
And everyone would agree.
Yeah. Do we ever learn much about where Bugbear's bloodstone came from in normal Bugbear story? Oh yeah, that's fine to answer.
That's by
Yeah.
itself. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think we know from his origin where it came from.
Well, I mean, as much as we've said,
blood.
but I don't think
Yeah.
we ever know, like, oh, here's who made it, or here's why. Like, I don't think we ever get the answer of, like, who created the ritual that made the stone.
No, there's an element of mystery about it.
Yeah.
that-
I
that
think
just
a
stays
fan
there.
theory that I don't disagree with, but don't fully subscribe to, involves, hey, remember how later there's the Quetzalcoatl thing that brings in, like, power from this other realm? Mm-hmm. Is it related to that power? And the answer's like, oh, very possibly.
Oh, it could be. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. In normal Bugbear stories, does he show up as a headliner going at the heroes solo, or is he more commonly used as a supporter for other villains, or perhaps as a threat that the heroes and villains have to team up against?
He's not that third one. He's not a threat that the heroes and villains team up against, I don't think, really, ever.
No.
But we've seen him both as a headliner going against heroes by himself, as a like, oh no, the heroes got to fight Bugbear. And we've also seen him most commonly as other people are manipulating him, either because they have some sort of power over him or can give him something that he wants, or have just like pointed him in the direction of other heroes.
Yeah. Sometimes he doesn't need to be manipulated. He's just like,
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just like, hey, do you want to go kill some people for me? He's like, my favorite thing.
Yeah.
Great. Does Bugbear have a favorite kind of prey?
Humans.
Okay. I don't think so. I think that any prey works for him.
I
Like,
agree.
yeah, I think that he's just kind of monstrous and sadistic and doesn't care. So if Bugbear gets,
But he has a hard line about cannibalism.
okay. So if Bugbear gets locked in the void, what kind of interactions does he have with the other villains that dwell in the void?
Hold on.
Yeah, he's not locked in the void.
He's
Yeah.
not in the void. Whew. Oh no, void
Yeah.
Bugbear.
Oh boy. Did we say void at any point?
I don't believe so.
Because I don't think that was never.
that was never our intention.
No. Seer got locked in the void.
Seer got locked in the void. Voss and Bugbear. Oh, I mentioned him. No,
What have you done?
he's back.
What have you done?
He's back. Shoot. I actually, it almost sounds like I intended that to be a bit, but I didn't. I was genuinely trying
Yeah.
not to. Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
but no, not in the void. Not in the void.
Not in the void. Yeah. So these other questions are like, if he's in the void, that he's not. Yeah.
No.
In any case, thank you for your quote unquote time.
Interesting.
Regards, the current bearer of the name Apostate's Intern, probably.
Is this like a biomancer apostate? What's going on here?
I don't know. The metafiction has gotten so out of control.
Tell me the time. Tell me the time,
I have
Adam.
such a hard time following it.
Tell me the time in which it was in control.
Back when it was just like, look at Lord Wolfhunt's hunting the two different wolves in the...
Yeah, there was Savage Grey Wolf.
Yeah.
Wasn't there another wolf?
There was two different ones.
I feel bad.
And then it was just like, the Cult of Gloom and Princess Cool.
Classic.
And it was like, all right, cool. Yeah, we're chilling. We're vibing here. It was like not a lot of... And now it's like, there's all these stories.
I think it's great.
I think it's great. It's just hard to follow.
Are you saying that we need a letters page reboot and be like, all right, listen, everybody. Here are the shticks that we are allowing. We're going back to the core.
Maybe at episode 500, we do a reboot.
Deal. Episode 500, we'll reboot the letters page metafiction.
My God. Yeah.
Which is actually meta fiction.
We're like, okay, this is our Crisis on Infinite Letters pages.
Indril writes, hello, Christopher and Adam. Starting this letter off with an observation, is Bugbear just basically a werewolf plus vampire combo? Beastliness, blood stuff, connected through a line of hunger. He seems to be like the exact midpoint of both monsters, just without the ability to turn off his monstrousness, which sucks for him. Okay, so this is a fair way to look at him. It's not definitely the intention, but he has some of the attributes of both of those things without having the multi-form of like human form and beast form. He's just always in Bugbear stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not a unfair assessment, but it's also not like the intention of the character to be like, okay, write this guy like a vampire werewolf.
Yeah.
But yeah. Since he has similarities to both, the letter continues, I'm wondering if Bugbear ever interacts with either of the mythical monsters. Did he tussle with Alpha during his time as a Night Mist nemesis? Assuming this doesn't change between editions because he almost seems more like a naturalist nemesis. Did vampires come after him as his existence could spell trouble for Bathory's control over the secrets of blood magic? Could he have served as an inspiration for blood-leashed werewolves, where Bathory heard of this blood magic-powered beast guy and decided she could do it better? Or maybe an alpha writer saw him in a story and decided Bloody Beastman would make for a cool upgrade. Or are these just two parts of Sentinel Comics that never intersect despite the similarities? I'm curious to hear the answer. We talked about him as an alpha foe, but I don't actually care about him interacting with the Court of Blood.
No, I don't really either. I don't care about it's not like outlandish, but I don't care about it.
Yeah.
Not like I do with werewolves, because like I want to see the big monsters fight. Let's mash the action figures together, right?
Right.
Although, like from that perspective, like fighting some vampires wouldn't be bad either. Like it could happen. I'm not going to say no to it. It's just like it's not as grabbing as the werewolf conflict to me.
I think it's an more interesting.
I do see him as successfully being an alpha foe. Like being considered an alpha foe for a time.
Yeah.
Like
agreed. Agreed.
All right. I got a letter from Phoenix, who writes,
I really think it's supposed to be Phoenix. I know that says that, but like,
yeah, it's from Phoenix. That's
right.
what, look at.
I'm looking.
People get to tell you how to pronounce their name.
I agree. I 100% agree with that.
That happens. Even if it seems like it should be elsewise.
Mm-hmm.
Phoenix writes, hello, Master Liesmiths. Seeing the previews for how Apex looks got me thinking about the costumes of more feral or single-minded killer villains. Apex wears very little, despising the trappings of humanity. Mm-hmm. Spite's outfit is basically whatever he had on or found, plus the mask that has already been explained. Plague Rat has what's left of his original clothes. That brings us to Bugbear. Bugbear has a full spandex-looking costume on, but his bio sounds like he rarely, if ever, left the jungle once he became the beast he is now. Did the Bloodstone create a costume for him? Is it just what he happened to be wearing when he was guarding a convoy? Or is it something he attained as a result of working alongside other villains in Vengeance who were just tired of him wearing the bloodstained, tattered clothes he became Bugbear in?
Yeah.
Thanks for all you do, Phoenix.
Yeah, so for his origin, he definitely wasn't wearing that spandex outfit to guard the convoy.
No. So, like, I think that there's an element of German expressionism to it, where it's like he has it because he needs to have it.
Sure.
That like, so someone's like, this would be a cool look, and so he's got it.
Right.
I don't think that we ever have like a tailor go, hold on, let me give you.
No, but
aside from this issue where they give him a suit.
Right. No, I don't have a problem with the Bloodstone creating a costume for him, though.
No, I don't either. If he just like wills it, that it can. Yeah,
I think that's fine. He's like, I need something. He's like, I need something that'll allow me to blend into the underbrush. That'll allow me to move from shadow to shadow. And so like the costume is supposed to be like,
I want to look at like this fearsome beast and like
right, that the costume tells you who he is, and it also allows it acts in a camouflaging sort of way.
Yeah,
or that is the claim about the costume, and that I think that's sufficient. All right, I have a letter from Azrael 2012 Pi, who writes, "Hello, Christopher and Adam. When was Bugbear's first appearance in comic books? And what are Bugbear's approximate ages throughout the eras of Sentinel Comics? Thanks." Okay, so the first appearance in comic books we talked about, he didn't show up in comics. Like Morris Dougal wasn't around before his first appeappearance. He was introduced.
Trouble Bizarre, Volume 2, number 248, August 1979.
Yeah, so 79 is when he started. He had a few stories between there and the Chairman stuff. The Chairman was probably his first like notable story working with other villains. And then he's had other stories since then. His approximate ages, I think the idea is that he is in his somewhere between late 20s and early 40s. Like that's, I think he's middle-aged, prime of his life.
Ambiguous adult.
Right.
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever see him older or younger than that throughout the eras of Sentinel Comics.
Last letter of this section comes from Smart Thinker, who writes, "Hi, Adam the Doomed and Christopher, who must watch helplessly."
That does sound like us.
Yeah. This is the Smart Monster Hunter, and I am writing to ask a few questions. And because I have a warning for Adam, you may want to leave the Cult of Gloom. I have uncovered
you may.
I have uncovered the exact time and location of your meeting with the Cult of Gloom and informed a few people about it. Mainly Fanatic, the Court of Blood, Pinion, Apex's Pack, Dark Watch, Alpha, Dark Strife, and Painstay.
What?
In addition to all that, I replaced your Discordian summoning scrolls with Eternal ones, so it will be a wild and potentially fatal night. And if you quit now, I will send your birthday cookies sometime during your birth month. Offer expires when you're dead. Wow.
Okay. This is like very. It feels like
it's like hey, I want you to get out of Dodge, but also I'm kind of threatening you.
Yeah, it's like hey, you'll do this if you know what's best for you.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for the sentiment.
Here's the thing about the Cult of Gloom.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm a very good member of the Cult of Gloom.
I agree.
You don't
do enough work spreading gloom.
Right, but all of this stuff that you've said here is going to cause a lot more gloom. So that's the nice thing about the cult is that it is the opposite of self-defeating.
That's right.
It's self-fulfilling. It's like if things go bad for them, cool, more gloom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
With all that aside, here are some questions about Bugbear. Have Bugbear and Alpha ever fought? I think that we've established yes at this point.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they have.
What was that story when Akash 3 fought Bugbear?
What was that story?
That story indeed? I think that that is grounds for a writer's room, I think.
Yeah, I would do a writer's room Bugbear Akash 3. Now, we know in that story that it also involves Naturalist and Plague Rat.
Yeah. Yeah, so we could deal with that.
Yeah.
What was the Rumble in the Jungle story?
Covered it today.
More or less. When did Bugbear go to Insula Permalis?
Around then.
Rumble in the Jungle story, yeah. Who made Bugbear's artifact? Is it Atlantean?
It's not Atlantean. And the artifact, I wouldn't even call the Bloodstone an artifact, because the Bloodstone wasn't an artifact before. Like, it was the focal stone. There was a red stone that was the focal stone of the ritual, but it wasn't anything special until the ritual completed it. So I would not call it an artifact.
What interactions has Bugbear had with the Court of Blood? We don't know.
Too many to name and too few to mention.
What is Bugbear like in Vampire World?
He's a vampire.
It's a vampire, sure. Yeah. What is Bugbear like in the Animalverse?
He's a bear.
I was gonna say he's a bug. He's a bear bug.
Ooh. he's a
big hairy beetle. He's a bear bug.
He's a bear with wasp wings.
Oh, that's awful.
Got a stinger.
Yeah,
he's a bear with he's shaped like a wasp, but has bear claws and bear fur on the wasp shape.
Oh, gross. Yeah, that's awful.
Bugbear.
Bear bug.
Bear bug. That's the name of it. It's bear bug.
Yeah, it's bear bug.
Bear bug.
Thank you. Remember, turn that frown upside down to smartly exterminate the monsters that want to eat you.
Smart thinking letter right there. Adam,
all right.
We've got a couple of letters each that are follow-ups to the Primordans Fight a Bunch of Vampire stories. We've been doing some non-seasonal October, November.
We have. Yeah. No more of that nonsense. We're going to get back on track.
Yeah, I don't think anything coming up in the next month is that nonsense. So yeah, I think you're right. We are going to get back on track.
Yeah, good.
Okay, all right, okay. My first letter from this section is from Tango, who writes, "Howdy, you two. While listening to the latest episode featuring the Primordans and the Court of Blood, I got curious about something. What is the range on Captain Cosmic's powers? He obviously makes light constructs, and he can seemingly make them on other people, as we've seen. Does he have to be able to see where he's putting the construct? Does he just have to be familiar with the location? So could he make a construct in his home, no matter where he is? Okay, definitely not. Like he definitely could.
He has to be able to see it.
I think he has to be able to see it, and I think frequently when he makes a construct, he most commonly not to say that he can't make one over there. He can't make one over there, but I think he most commonly makes one in front of him and then sends it somewhere.
Yeah, I think so too. I think that like if Fanatic is standing over like by an alleyway,
yeah,
and he makes a construct on her,
yeah,
and she walks into the alleyway and he can't see her, he can still feel the construct there, but he has to like keep it in mind or it will go away.
Yeah, I don't think he has to have line of sight to them once they're created, but I do think that you can't take them dozens of miles from him.
No, he has to have it's a concentration spell.
That's right.
Is what? Yeah.
But how far could one take it? Like, could somebody be like, all right, I'm gonna just keep walking away with this construct stick that you made for me, and I'm gonna keep going. Like,
I'm gonna say probably like maybe 100 yards is not like that might be too far.
I think you're right. A couple hundred yards, just like normal. Mm-hmm. But I think if someone was like, I want to take it real far away, and you keep all your mind focused on it, and
this one thing,
and you just you look at it, and like you'll see me as far as I can go. But if I get out of your sight, just keep focusing on it. I think you could go up to a few miles.
There's a cool feat to be done with that. That's like
he's like, I'm focused. Yeah. Like I can feel my concentration.
We
skipping.
need this construct to.
Yeah.
This person can survive going into a reactor, but they need his construct to do it. And
Yeah.
Okay.
But I don't think he could make it. I don't think with any amount of concentration, you'd be like, all right, several miles away, I make a construct happen. It's like, no.
I think he has to see it generally to make it.
I think so.
Yeah. I think that's a good rule, actually. He has to see it to make it, and then it can leave his sight.
And then it can leave his sight, but he has to focus on it.
Yeah.
Letter continues. If he can make a construct from more or less anywhere, he can make a construct from more or less anywhere, but it'll appear in his line of sight. Would he be able to call together Primordans by making some coordinates float in the middle of Anthony Drake's living room? Yes, if he were also in Anthony Drake's living room.
Yeah.
It seems odd to me that with how little the Primordans hang out outside of work time, they wouldn't have multiple ways to call the team together. Obviously, this wouldn't have helped Captain Cosmic much in the story, but I'm so curious. Well, yeah, they can text each other, they can make phone calls, they can use Skype.
I do think that there's probably like a mental summons that they can all do that is established by Argent Adept so that they can call the team together.
Tempest has given them all space pagers.
Yeah.
I think we see varieties of these methods used, but sometimes we're like, oh no, we can't contact each other because of this particular story that we're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I was also wondering, because you said that Argent Adept could strum a little tune and figure out where any of the members of the Primordans are, except for a few fringe cases. Fanatic can also maybe pray a message to the other members?
I don't see why not. Yeah, she could. Yeah.
If Cosmic can create constructs at a distance, no. That means that Haka and Tempest are the only ones who can't contact the rest of the group on demand. Space pagers.
And
Haka can just go, hey!
Just yell really loud. You can hear him from space. Yeah. In space, no one can hear you scream, but you can hear Haka from Earth.
You can hear Haka scream in space.
Yeah.
Do they just hang out? Do they do their own thing until Arjun Adept randomly pops up in front of them requesting their help? Thanks, Tango. No, I think there's enough ways for them to contact each other, except for the situations where suddenly there aren't enough ways for them to contact each other.
Right. All right. I have a letter from Maurice who writes, "Hello, Christopher and Adam. Listening to the episode in question, I had to think of the older episode about the fall of the Prime Wardens. There you said the Prime Wardens have not faced their personal shortcomings until then. That doesn't really seem to fit with the stories Cuthbert writes. So how were there enough unaddressed issues to cause the fall? Or is the gap just big enough that those things had not been addressed for some time and they were not in the reader's minds anymore?"
Okay. Well, it's not that the Prime Wardens never address their personal issues, but the ones that bring about the fall were mostly unaddressed, and also were a lot of specific revelations, and were things that had been brought up before but never like completely put to bed. And I feel like the Fall of the Prime Wardens is one of the episodes I listened to in preparation for this, because we talked about Bugbear fighting Fanatic in it. And that episode, I think is very good in terms of us going through and talking about all of the things that pull the team apart. That's a decent. It's not a good time. It's a pretty rough time, but I think it's a decent. Go back and listen to the Fall of the Prime Wardens story, because I think that the fall is earned in that a lot of team dynamics hadn't been resolved. Yeah. That's just my opinion, though.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Bathory having a feud with the Prime Wardens does add another reason for Haka to make a deal with her to finally get past that. Is that brought up in the build-up to the fall when he makes the deal? Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, but like the Court of Blood are a not common but frequent Prime Wardens foe.
Yeah.
They've got a few angles on them, and they're a good power level for each other. So that's part of the betrayal, that like by the time we get to the Fall of the Prime Wardens, and it is revealed that this whole time, or at least through a lot of this time, Haka has had a deal with Blood Countess Bathory. Of course, other members of the team feel betrayed by that. They're like, one of our greatest foes, you're just giving her your blood and empowering, making other vampires stronger as a result. That's bad, yo. He's like, I did it to try to protect everyone. It's like, you could have talked to us about it. It's like, I knew you would say no. It's like, why do you think that is? Yeah.
Yeah. Right there. It's right there. Yeah.
Right there.
Finally, the only result of the Court of Blood is having Haka's blood is the vampires being stronger in the next confrontation. But strength is generally hand-wavy in comics anyway, so is there anything more substantial? Something specific that they can do now that they couldn't before? Losing less blood now as the Kidney Stone era is over. Moritz.
They can do Hakas. We see the vampires doing Hakas.
There you go. Yeah.
No, they don't get cultural appropriation as part of the blood. They just get strength. And yes, strength is hand-waving in comics, but you get vampires that like fly up like a vampire and then punch through a stone wall. And it's like, they're not supposed to be big, punchy, strong.
They're they're very, very strong and durable. And
somebody goes to drive a stake into the chest of a vampire, and the vampire catches the stake and
double palm catch it.
Yeah. It's the like you get vampires that are more physical foe threats. And vampires are always considered like, oh, they're supernaturally strong. But these vampires are like strong, like ripped strong. And that's an additional amount of scariness.
Yes.
And it's not just the strength of them, it is also the vitality. Like Haka is they get a little bit of the Haka strength and vitality sense.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, Adam. I got one last letter today. And that is from the Golden Gunslinger, who writes, "Howdy, Christopher, Adam, and Trevor. I come to y'all with questions about Fanatic.
Yeah, rightly do.
In the episode about the Prime Wardens versus the Court of Blood, I'm not going to do this. In response to a question about Fanatic's beliefs, powers, shaping reality, y'all said that it only works if she truly has faith in the thing. My question is about God."
I gotta see where this is going.
Yeah. Elena very clearly believes in the Judeo-Christian God. Wouldn't that make him exist? Is she not powerful enough to create omnipotent beings? Presumably, Fanatic believes that Jesus existed and was crucified and rose again. Could her powers alter history? if she can alter history just by having faith that it was different, it seems like she would be one of the most powerful characters in Sentinel Comics. Ignore the fact that she already is.
Okay, so A, I don't believe that she can create omnipotent beings. No.
I agree.
B, I don't think that she can alter anything that is outside of her time. I don't think that she can
history.
She cannot alter history. She cannot alter anything that is not currently happening now.
C, I'm just responding yes in Spanish.
It's like waiting for the point.
Yeah. C, I don't think that the comics get into this.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think the comics come down and say, and thus God exists, but only because Fanatic made God exist by believing in God.
Yeah, no. She can't make anything more powerful than herself. I don't think.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
But how powerful is she, Adam? On a scale of 1 to 10.
But so here's the thing also. I don't think that she ever believes that she would ever meet God.
Yeah, right.
There's no reason for that to ever happen. Right?
Yeah, she certainly believes that she will never get proof of God other than the faith that she has.
I could see some jerk trying to do a story where it's like someone says that like the end of Star Trek 6 where they meet God, sort of.
Okay.
And it's someone that says that he's God, but is just like a powerful being. And if she believes that, then like that could grant this being power, like more power.
Mm-hmm.
So like that's the closest that I could think that could be a thing that could happen is meeting someone that says he's God and her going like, oh, well, I have no reason not to believe that. Like, because that causes more problems than it solves also.
Yes.
If she invented God, if she was like,
she invented God.
She's like, she's like, I created, then like that solves a lot more problems than it creates.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
It solves a lot of problems, but like believing someone is God who's not is like actually creates major issues.
That's an interesting story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, these final wasteland retardandos aren't going to fight themselves. These final wasteland retardandos aren't going to fight themselves.
I don't know what the Spanish word that goes there is. That
I don't know that it's a Spanish word.
I feel like it is. Ardondos.
Right, it has the same right. But
yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Sincerely yours, Jim Brooks, conscript, virtuoso of the void, the golden gunslinger.
All right, last letter of the day comes from Kate Walker, who writes, Dear CNA, in episode 311, you gave Court of Blood member a first appearance and hooked her up with Captain Cosmic. My question is, was Katarina introduced to comics with the intent that she would be revealed as a vampire, or at least something she did not appear to be, or was she, as you put it, just a normal girlfriend type person? Thanks for making Raw and Fanatic kiss, Kate Walker.
Yeah, we got
welcome.
you. As much as I would love to say she was just a normal girlfriend type person, because I like saying the phrase just normal girlfriend type person, she was definitely introduced to be a vampire. Yeah. She was a vampire from the start.
From the beginning, yeah.
She was never not a vampire as far as writers and editorial was concerned.
Yeah.
Hey, Adam.
Yes.
Would you like to talk about the cover?
Yes, I would.
Welcome to the cover section. It is I, Normal Christopher, here to talk about the cover with you today.
I don't know why you turned into a vampire.
I am a Hispanic vampire. Can you not hear my accent, though?
I see. Okay. So I kind of have a half idea here.
Yeah.
That I might have just solidified it. I was thinking of having Bugbear in like the suit, right?
Yeah. There's also an argument for Bugbear versus Parse on the cover.
But the copy that I had thought of was Monster Made Man.
That's pretty good because you get Made Man in there.
Because you get Made Man, yeah.
Put him in the suit. Monster Made Man. Put him, but because I think you want to, given the era too, I think you want a, oh yeah, Adam. Guess what movie came out 1 year before this?
What year is it?
84.
84. 83. I don't know. When did Godfather 2?
I gave you a really big hint in the Slack.
Oh, Scarface.
Yeah. Look at that suit.
Oh, yeah. We put him in the Scarface
You put him in the Scarface suit.
Yeah.
God, that's terrible.
Yeah.
He'll fill out the suit better. This suit on this would fit a person with a broader chest better.
Is there anything else we want on the cover?
But I do think you. So this is a trick. I do think you want to have. Oh shoot, Adam.
I could put parts on the cover still.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think like this picture here. This is bad radio. Is the cover you want?
Oh, like sitting on a car like that?
Just have him just be the picture of wealth, you know?
Yeah. The copy just kind of like clicked everything in.
Yeah, because Monster Made Man, the double meaning.
Good.
You nailed it. That was great.
All right.
Okay. Whew. As much as we've talked about the Scarface suit being right, and I do think it is, not the Scarface hair.
No. I mean, it'll still be clearly Bugbear.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Good. We haven't had a modern picture of Bugbear. I'm excited.
Yeah, that's true. I don't think I've drawn him since.
Yeah.
I haven't drawn him in Definitive Edition at all.
Whose deck would he be in?
Maybe Visionary. He was in Visionary's deck originally. I don't know.
I remember that. I don't think he's in Visionary's deck. I just checked. Yeah, I don't think you've drawn Definitive Bugbear.
I might not have.
Well, so this will be
Correct us if
Definitive
we're wrong.
Bugbear, but not Definitive Bugbear costume. So,
Yeah.
thanks everybody so much for listening.
Thanks as always to our patrons. We could not do this show without you. If you'd like to become a patron, head on over to patreon.com/theletterspage. Sign up there and help us out and be our friends.
Yeah. That's the help that we need for sure. Yeah.
Friendship is the real help.
Yeah. It's the help we needed along the way. Friendship is the help we need along the way.
Yeah, that's
Actually,
you said it as a joke, but it's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, remember, friendship, it's the help we need along the way. Also, remember that next week is April 1st, and we will have an episode 314, which is a writer's room about a digital foe in a digital realm. So tune in for that.
Awesome. Great.
Awesome. Adam, it's great seeing you again.
Yep.
Let's do this in a week.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's schedule it out.
Sweet. Schedule it out. The thing everybody always says about that. All right. Talk to you later.
Yeah. Bye.
The Letters Page is a weekly podcast featuring fiction from the world of Sentinel Comics, written by me, Christopher Bedell,
And illustrated by me, Adam Repetaro. We're also your hosts.
The music that you hear was composed by me, Jean-Marc Giffen, and is used courtesy of Handelabra Games.
The song, Christopher and Adam Reading Letters to You, was written and performed by Christopher's brother, Anthony Bedell. The show is edited and produced by me, Trevor Casterline. Thanks for listening and supporting the multiverse.
Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters from you. Let 'em read 'em at you. Let 'em read 'em at you. Oh, Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam reading letters to you. Christopher and Adam. Christopher and Adam.
Adam, is your chair locked? I usually ask before we start recording.
Yes.
Cool.
And it always was, and there's no way you can prove otherwise.
I have audio and I can't rerun the video, but I have the audio of you going slap.